I'm Big Al Weekly for 880 KRVN. We're the 50,000-watt gorilla here in the Midwest, and also for MusicChartsMagazine.com in Nashville. You know, we've all heard some of the great music throughout the years from a country legend named Charley Pride, and Charley is a member of the Grand Ole Opry and the Country Music Hall of Fame. Well, today it's very exciting to be able to sit back and talk with Charley Pride's son, Dion Pride. Welcome to the program, Dion, and you're embarking on a big music career, and I can't wait for us to sit and talk about it. How are you?
I'm doing well, and thank you for having me, Big Al.
Well, it's just more than my pleasure. As a matter of fact, I put a pot of coffee on. I've got a cup right here, and we'll sit back and visit. And I do want to mention, before we even get started, Dion, that you have a website so people can visit and know more about who Dion Pride is, and it's very simple. It's DionPride.com. What is the life like for a young man whose dad is a country music legend or embarking on a big career? What was your childhood like, Dion?
There were aspects of it that were semi-normal, and of course then there were aspects of it that were not your standard childhood. There were times I got pulled out of classes with permission by the school to go on shows and dates with my father at a young age. And so I found that a little different, but exciting. And I was, very encouraged with the confidence that my parents showed in me at an early age to take me into those types of environments. Also, it also gave me a taste of whether or not early on this was for me and if this was something I wanted to pursue. Of course, with Dad being such an inspiration already to me, he was just one of those things that kind of bookended the subject, so to speak. So, but as we were talking about earlier, there were so many aspects that were so normal. Like, for instance, Dad coming home. It was really never a issue or a source of or a topic of conversation. His stature or his fame or his accomplishments when he was at home. He was so much just Dad. And I remember that.
You and I are practically the same age. We grew up in the same area of great country music. And of course, I met your dad, and I told you off air that he was just as down to earth as just a regular person could be. Him influencing you, off air, you told me you wrote your first song at age 13. What about the guitar playing? Are you a multi-instrumentalist?
Yes, I am. My father introduced me to an acoustic guitar at 5. I started out left-handed. It's a funny story because I remember when he gave me the guitar, I just started playing it left-handed, and he was like, uh-oh. And I'm like, what? He said, well, I'm going to have to change the strings around. And just because I didn't want him to change the strings around, and I thought, he's got to take it back, or I'm going to have to get a new one. I just didn't want to wait. That's how excited I was to play. I was like, no, I'll switch it. And what a favor he did, because left-handed guitars are so much more expensive than right-handed guitars. But in short, he showed me my first 3 chords, and I took it from there at 5. And then at 8, my mother had wanted me to get a background in theory, and so she had me in classical piano lessons at 8. So I took formal classical piano lessons from 8 till 10, and continued my classical from 10 to 13, but with modern and pop piano thrown into it. And so I felt like that gave me a nice round foundation. But inevitably, the classical side is what stuck out so much because of the technique, the spider fingers, and being able to get your fingers in between those black keys and play smoothly that way. Technique was very crucial in my development. And then at 10, I got a hand-me-down drum set from my brother and started playing drums, which I quickly took to. And then I was given a bass by my father's longtime bass player, Preston Buchanan, at 12. And so I started playing bass. I felt like, if I can get proficient at all 4 of these instruments, then, it would be an advantage when I started songwriting.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Dion Pride. He is the son of country music legend Charley Pride. He's embarking on a great career of music. His website is DionPride.com. So, Dion, your dad showed you the chords, and then went into work on the piano, and you did take some education on music. So I assume you know how to read notes and
Yes,
other.
yes, yes, yes. I think that's just mandatory to learn your instrument and learn the fundamentals of music if you're going to be serious with it and make a career out of it. That's crucial, so that you could relate and understand other musicians from other places. And music is such a universal language, and if you are proficient in your theory, then you can go. You don't even have to speak really the language of another culture. You can still interact through music. So I've always found that interesting.
That is an interesting concept. A lot of people that can't communicate or talk, but they can sit down and play together and know exactly
Yes,
what each other's thinking.
exactly.
Well, you started playing guitar, and you wrote your first song at 13, and we'll cover the songwriting because you told me off air that you've wrote millions of songs. You've been able to play guitar so well, you have traveled with your father all over the country. You was his lead guitar player, correct?
I was. Yes, I was. And that was a great opportunity and a great experience. It was a style of guitar, and still is a style of guitar that I find so engaging and engrossing. Is the country, chicken picking, and it's so wonderful and versatile and broad of a style. I had up to that point done mostly pop kinds of electric guitar, and but I was, of course, very versed in the acoustic country style of strumming and Travis picking and all of that. But when I picked up an electric, I was drawn to pop and rock initially, up to the point that my dad hired me. I hadn't really delved into, except for the few times that I sat down with Chet Atkins early in my life. That's where I got the thumb pick. I play with a thumb pick, and I have pretty much for most of my guitar playing. But outside of those little sessions with him, I hadn't really delved into it until he hired me, and I've been hooked ever since.
You've worked with your dad, and you just mentioned Chet Atkins, so I assume that you have probably gotten to work with a lot of the other major country and even possibly rock and rolls and blues stars for different times in your career.
Yes, I have. I wouldn't even know where to start with all of the valuable experiences of being able to be, stage right or stage left, watching Randy O in Alabama and Kathy Mattea. There's just a couple that come to mind. Such an honor to be able to be in the presence of such great Ronnie Milsap. I mean, of great and Waylon, and yes, I've been able to be blessed enough to experience and see up close a lot of the professional. Glenn Campbell is another one that I developed a really nice rapport with, and somebody who was very influential for me and to me as far as my guitar playing. Very, very encouraging. Him and Steve Warner as well. I think biggest and best experiences that I had was being able to perform in front of these people, because they were my father's peers, and you get feedback from those types of success stories as to where you are and whether or not you have what it takes to reach a certain standard. And it was very nice to get the tough love and the positive feedback. Not that the tough love wasn't, but the positive feedback from that level and caliber of act.
Do you find that country music today is a lot more, let's use the word difficult, to get into? I think there's three circles in music. I think you have the amateurs that have fun, and then you have your upper class people that are in between trying to break into the Nashville scene or professional. Then you have your professional circle. Do you find that it's a lot harder to break into that professional circle?
Well, I think it's all relative, and I also believe that it's pretty much as it is with any profession. There's a high degree of competition in this country, especially when you have the system of capitalism. So, yes, I think it's hard, of course, but I think that goes with any profession. So I don't think it's anything that's necessarily out of the ordinary, or I would say any different from any other profession. And the short answer is yes, it's difficult.
And we have been talking with Dion Pride. He is the son of country music legend Charlie Pride. You can check out his website, dionpride.com. Now, we've gotten to know Dion Pride a little bit, but coming up, we're going to talk about his songwriting abilities. We're going to hear an excerpt of a song from his dad, and also some great singing from Dion Pride. That's all coming up here on our visit with Mr. Dion Pride. I'm Big Al Weekly.